Hey there, friend. If you ever dealt with abandonment issues in your relationships, and here I'm talking in your friendships, in your social circles, in the relationship with your romantic partner, if you feel like you have this need to always care for others, but do not always tend to your own personal needs and self care, and so it's like you're sacrificing your own self, your boundaries, your values, you're compromising your needs to always be there for others. But you find yourself in a situation in which this is not like you are only giving but not able to receive as much care and attentiveness and like support. Well, it's these are some of the signs you're dealing with the abandonment wound and some abandonment issues. So in this video, my intention for you is to like help you understand what is the cure. But first of all, to know what is the cure, we need to understand what are some of the blockages, the roadblocks that stay in the way of healing the wound of abandonment, our abandonment issues. Then what we need to do to allow ourselves to look at that inner child who is afraid of abandonment and really parent them up the way it weren't parent, the way that this inner child wasn't parent when you were growing up, when your caretakers were taking care of you. So we'll see what needs to be done for you to take care of that inner child, and then at the end of the video I'll share with you like how you can now extend that self-care in your relationships so that you are able to freely express your needs and your boundaries in the relationships with others so that you don't abandon yourself anymore. So if you're looking for the cure to your abandonment issues, stay with me until the end of the video and I'm sure you'll get tremendous value out of it. That being the case, let's directly get into the topic. Hey there, I am Daniel, a relationship alignment coach and the creator of the Soulful Relationships Experience, a 3 to 4 month one-on-one coaching program that completely helps you eradicate any toxic, destructive, codependent, power struggle relationship dynamics, heal your relationships to your feminine, to your masculine, so that you can surround yourself with relationships and like with people who support and lift you up. And now let us talk about the abandonment wound and how it works. Like most of the time what happens is when our inner child is afraid of abandonment, it's like it feels that you're not there for it, you're not taking care of it, like there is nobody to take care of it. It's like you can care for the whole world, but this inner child inside of you will feel abandoned, and it's like it feels disappointed, it feels offended, it feels neglected. Maybe your parents were neglecting it. And so what happens is that since since this inner child feels neglected, it tries to always care for others in the hopes that if it cares for others enough, if it supports other people in your life enough, then eventually they'll realize how valuable you are in their life and they'll start taking care of you the way you want to be cared. But this is a form of manipulation, my friend. And I know this because I've struggled with this for such a long time. And see what happens. And most likely you've already experienced that. It's like you try to take care and support other people in your life, your friends, family, your romantic partner, your colleagues. Like whenever they're going through something painful, you're here for them. But you find it hard to express your needs when you need them to be there for you. And you also don't give yourself enough space and enough self-care and self-compassion to be there for yourself when you're feeling like abandoned and struggling. And so this inner frustration starts building up, that it's not fair that I can always be there for others but they're not here for me. And so the inner child starts feeling more and more abandoned, while at some point it starts resenting others so much, it starts feeling like angry, but it represses that anger because it still hasn't connected with its own needs and boundaries, and it still haven't found a way to express them on the outside. And so you keep trying to take care of others in the hope that they'll recognize the good work you're doing for them and they'll like return the favor. but you are never honest and genuine enough to express this inner need. So the biggest blockage to healing that wound is the fact that you don't allow yourself to be weak. Now, let that sink in for a moment. You don't allow yourself, you don't give yourself the privilege, the permission to be weak. You always want to be the stronger one who is always there for others, but you don't allow yourself to be weak, to allow other people to be there for you. And so you're always trying to save everybody, but you're not doing this, you're not having the same attitude for your own self, for your own inner neglected and abandoned child. So this is the biggest blockage. And unless you understand that, unless you allow yourself to be weak and to ask for help, to express your needs, this inner child, this wound of abandonment, these abandonment issues, they will never be healed. You always compromise yourself, sabotage yourself. You always like not express your needs transparently. You will always abandon your own needs and your desires and like try to overextend the care you have for others, but never give it to yourself. And so this wound cycle of abandonment will perpetuate. And what will happen also, like another pattern that you most likely have found yourself in, is that you always be there for people who are not looking to be there for themselves. And so you are trying to save somebody who is not willing to be saved. And by doing so, you accept the fact that I'm okay to be abandoned. Like I'm okay to only give and not receive. And here I'm talking about emotional support, like being there for somebody truly, genuinely, honestly. So this is the biggest block, my friend. Now, understanding this biggest block, the one thing you need to do to cure this abandonment wound is first of all, accept, give yourself the permission to be weak. It is not so scary. It's okay. We are humans. Your inner child is human. It's okay for it to suffer. It's okay for it to feel to cry, to feel grief. It's okay for it to feel abandoned. And in a way, by accepting and giving yourself the permission to be weak, now you can parent yourself up so you can become the mother you've never had, or like the father you've never had. Because this is what happens most of the time. We feel abandoned by the parent of the opposite gender. So for me, for example, let me share with you a story of like when I was going through the process of healing this wound of abandonment. And by the way, I'm still doing it. Like I've been doing this for I think like a year and something already, a year more concentrated on that. And so by healing that wound, I know exactly where it exists in my body. And by the way, I found this to be the case for many of the people I work with. So the wound of abandonment resides in the right back side of your waist. So if I were to show it, like it's somewhere around here. This is where you find the wound of abandonment, in this place. And so you will feel tension in this part of your body. This is the wound of abandonment. And now it becomes your responsibility, understanding that it resides there. Of course, it becomes your responsibility to be present with this feeling, with this sensation. The more present you are, and the more you ask it questions, tell me how you feel. What are you experiencing? Why is there tension? What are you worried about? What did I not give you? What are your needs? How can I care for you more? All of these questions, they're really valuable, and you direct those questions to the sensation in your body. And so what happens by doing so is that little by little, layer by layer, you will go to the core of that onion, which is like the emotional wound. And so the way that happens is that by asking this inner child questions, the inner child is the sensation, the feeling inside of you. By asking it really genuine, honest questions, then it will start showing you how it was neglected in your childhood upbringing. And so it will tell you exactly what it needed but it feels disappointed that it wasn't able to get when you were like brought up as a child. And so it will tell you, I need more space. When I'm in a relationship, in a romantic relationship with this partner that I'm dating, and like we start being so close together, and I start in a way abandoning myself, this is the moment I need a little bit of space. And I want you to communicate that with my partner, because by giving myself that space, I can then go back to that relationship with more energy, with more value to provide. And so I wouldn't become dependent on them, and I wouldn't self-sabotage, and I wouldn't abandon my needs to be there for my partner. It will tell you all that by staying with the feelings. Your inner child, this neglected, abandoned inner child, will tell you all that. But you need to be there. You need to be honest, vulnerable, genuine, genuinely curious about what is it that it needs. So anyway, getting back to this story I wanted to share. By doing this process and communicating with this feeling, again, checking with your body and see if it resides in the same place. The right back side of your waist. It's here in the second energy center in the right side of your body, in the back. It's here. So you can ask questions to this energy here. And so by doing so, it will give you all the memories in which it felt hurt. So let me give you an example. What happened to me when I was going through the process of healing the more like deepest parts, segments of this inner wound of the pain that I was holding on in my body. This inner child allowed me to recall a memory in which I don't know how old I was, but it was like I did some mischief when I was I don't know, a child growing up with my parents, and I did some mischief, and I was consistently doing this mischief. I think it was something related to, like, when we were children, me and my sister, we had one computer, and we were really passionate about using it, playing games, so on and so forth. And I was always trying to spend more time on the computer compared to her. And our parents were giving us like identical amounts of time, but I was taking her time, and I was having more time for myself. So I was a little bit egocentrical in that way. And I was doing this consistently for weeks. And eventually my sister, um, she was talking to my mother that wasn't giving her enough time on the computer. And my mother, like, she wanted, it was a mischief I did. And so she wanted to, I don't know, in a way, make me be what was this word? Like a more, a healthier child. I forgot the exact word. So anyways, and I also did other things that were perceived as mischief. And so eventually I remember, like, this inner child showed me the memory of how my mother actually, she abandoned me. She abandoned me in the way that she told me, you're doing a lot of mischiefs and you're not doing anything to fix them. That's why I'm locking you outside the door and you stay there. And that's it. Until you realize what you did and you try to resolve it, you walked outside of home, in front of the door. And so she did that, and I remembered how I stayed there for 30 minutes, and I felt, what the fuck, this is so unfair. Does she not care for me? Like, am I so I don't know, am I so neglected by my mom? And I felt really deep grief that she abandoned me. I perceived this as an abandonment. Of course, it was like a way to parent me, but I perceived it as an abandonment. And so I remembered this memory, and then a lot of weeping started coming up. So a lot of crying, a lot of like, I started being really vulnerable. Then eventually I forgave myself. I accepted all these feelings. I had this inner conversation with my inner mother. And so by doing so, I told myself what I needed to hear. But she didn't tell me that when I was growing up. So I needed to give that to myself. This is how healing takes place. This is what shadow work, the shadow deep identity work is. And so by doing so, I was able also, like, by going through that memory, healing it, grieving, allowing myself to weep, I was able to give myself space to be weak and be there for myself and be compassionate and patient and caring for this inner child. And so by doing so, I asked him, the inner child, tell me, what is it that you need? Like, when you feel abandoned, what is it that you need? And so he told me, okay, I need, sometimes I need my partner to be here for me, and I want you to communicate that with him. Or sometimes just need a little bit of space. I don't need them to be there for me, but I don't want them also to blame me if I'm not here for them. So it told me to connect with my needs, and it told me exactly what my needs were. I need space to see how I feel, to give myself space to feel, to be weak. I need, sometimes I need them to be there for me, so I need them to hold that space for me. Sometimes I just need them to be away, and I need to let them know that, okay, I need a couple of hours for or like a couple of days for myself, so that I can go through that emotional release and then go back charged with energy. And so I need you to support me. Like whenever I'm feeling weak, I need you to be there for me. I know you always want to care for others, but I need you to care for me. I want you to realize that you're already in a relationship with me. These again were some of the words that this inner child of mine told me when this healing was happening. And so this is what it takes, my friend. The cure to the abandonment issues is staying long enough with this feeling in your body, asking it what is there to teach you, what does it want you to know, like what does it need for you from you. And so by doing so, you are able to connect to your needs. And so once you connect to your needs, now you provide those needs for you. So you become the parent you've never had, or like you become the parent that you are looking more of, but they weren't giving you the attitude you wanted, and so in the behavior and like the care you wanted. And so in a way, you start embodying more self-care, more self-compassion, more patience, because this process takes time. And so you're just being here for yourself. You give yourself the permission to be weak, because when you allow yourself to be weak, this is the moment when you can actually let this inner child know that even though it feels weak, it will go through that. And if it goes through that, then by going through that, by the whole fact that it's able to go through that, and you're here able to hold that space for yourself, then it becomes like it be, it becomes powerful by nature, by the sole fact that it's able to go through that experience of suffering and then go through it and be a better version of itself. And so this is how you heal that wound of abandonment, by consistently letting that child know that you are here for it whenever it feels abandoned, and you'll be there for it next time it feels abandoned. And like by going through this process consistently on a daily basis, eventually it becomes habitual. And so this inner child starts to know by example that it's not possible for me to be abandoned, because like the mature mother or father inside of me, this all happens inside of my consciousness. So I'm always here for myself. Whenever I feel weak, I'm here for myself. Whenever I feel abandoned, neglected, I am here for myself. And the more stable this become, the more disciplined you are in this practice of being here for yourself whenever you need yourself. The inner child needs you. The more of this wound comes up, and so the more of it comes up, the more you realize abandonment is not possible. Like how could I be abandoned if I'm always here for myself whenever I feel abandoned? It doesn't make sense. Now the logic breaks, and so the wound starts to heal. And this, my friend, is the cure. And so initially it starts by understanding what are your needs. And like when you're communicating with your child, I highly encourage you to take a piece of paper and write down what is it that my inner child needs, and then start giving that to yourself. So by making it a habit to give that to yourself, then you go and extend that in your relationships. And so you tell to your partner, you tell to your friends, this is what I need when I feel that way. And I'm just letting you know, you're not responsible for me. I just want you to know, because I have respect for myself. I'm there for you, and I want you to know that I need you to be there for me also in these times, and I want you to be there for me in these exact ways. So communicating your needs. And now, understanding this process a little bit more deeply through this video, I would also highly encourage you to check out. I have a like 3 questions process, inner process, that helps you connect to your needs, to your boundaries, and to your gifts. So if you want to go through that process, it's something that I apply with my clients, but you can take it for free. You can find this 3 questions healthy boundaries framework down in the description. Register for it. You just like fill in your email and your name, and then you can download it and go through that process. It's such a powerful practice, my friend. But again, it starts from you being able to be here for this inner child of yours in the exact moments it feels abandoned, again and again and again and again, until this becomes habitual. Once it becomes habitual, then you extend that to your relationships through transparent communication. You allow yourself to be human. And humans, we sometimes are weak. We are also really powerful and strong, but sometimes we are weak. So we cannot just accept the like our virtues and then reject our vices. No, we need to accept the whole of our nature. So yes, sometimes we are weak, and that's okay. It's totally fine, because through that weakness you become powerful. So it's okay. And this, my friend, is how you cure the wound of abandonment. Now, I really trust you found this video to be helpful. If you're struggling with that, and if you've been on the healing journey for a while and you found this video to be helpful, comment down below. Let me know what practices work for you when you're working with your inner child. Let's make a discussion. And if you like topics about around that, like there is so much to share. Like if you want me to go deeper in the relationship dynamics of when you're struggling with the wound of abandonment, when you're just healing it, how this looks in the relationships. If you want me to go into that in a greater depth, also comment down below, because I'm really passionate about this topic. And if there is like, if enough people want to understand how it works to so that they can be more aware of their own situations in their relationship dynamics, then I'll make more videos on that. But please let me know if you find this interesting. So thank you so much for watching. I trust you found this video to be helpful. If this is the case, like it, comment down below, subscribe to the Soulful Relationships channel if you're new to it, because in this channel you will find everything you need to surround yourself only with people who will support and lift you up. That being the case, thank you again for watching and staying with me until the end. I love you so much, my friend. See you in the next video. Bye bye for now.